Hi everyone, Alexis Brooks here from Higher Journeys. I hope this little video message finds you all doing wonderful today. I figured I'd just make a little comment or two about my little kitty's birthday. My little Clover Paws, you may have heard me talk about him before. He has been the subject of, um, let's just say, animal reincarnation. My husband and I both feel very strongly that this kitty may have come back into our life after we lost a previous kitty. I'm not going to go into all the details of that now. There's some resources that you can go to learn the whole story. It's quite fascinating. Um, Cloverpaws just celebrated his third birthday on February 17th, a day before my previous kitty passed away, which was February 18th of 2012. Now, what prompted me to do this little video is a comment that I recently saw posted based on a television show that I had done for Jeff Belanger's 30 Odd Minutes. And the comment was a fair question, or really a fair comment. What the gentleman said was reincarnation, and it doesn't really make sense. If the new kitty was born the day before the previous kitty passed away, then how would that be reincarnation? And I do think that is a fair question, but I think it also begs the question of how are we looking at what we call time and space? Many researchers in the depths of metaphysics have really looked at the idea that time not only may not be linear fundamentally, but may actually be simultaneous. It's really kind of a head trip when you think about it, but it's something to think about, that time perhaps is a construct. And so, again, without going too far off the beaten path, I wanted to address this idea of how would reincarnation be, what's going on here if the new kitty was actually born the day before the old kitty died. I don't know is the short answer, and yet I feel that the timing was quite interesting. We calculated that Cloverpaws was probably born, hours before our paws had passed away. I remember being on the phone. We were actually out in Los Angeles. I was covering the Conscious Life Expo back in 2012, and I remember, the kitty had passed away back in Boston while we were in LA. We're actually planning on flying back that same day, and the veterinarian was sadly, letting us know that he was taking his last breath. But what she also said we found very interesting was that in the last 12 to 24 hours of his life, he had been so lethargic, almost zombie-like. She even said that it seemed like, his essence had left his body. We've heard of this before, that just because the body is still alive, the soul may have vacated. And therefore, the possibility, if such a thing occurs, it's still very difficult to try to figure out how this works. But is there a possibility? There's a term called walk-in. I've heard it used many times, including a colleague that I have that feels that one of her animal incarnations or reincarnations was actually taking place before the previous dog had died. Reality just gets stranger and stranger the more you look. But again, just because the kitty was born, we figured hours before our old kitty had passed away, does not preclude the idea that there was some sort of a fusion of personalities, or maybe even that personality of Paws vacated his body hours before he passed and then came into the new kitty's body. Believe me, I have more questions than I certainly have answers. I think it's worth exploring, as I always say. Just because we don't understand from our finite perspective doesn't mean it's not so. So I just wanted to address that. I hope this gentleman is listening. Perhaps he will. Maybe I'll even post a comment so he can listen to this little video vlog, I guess you would call it. Very good question. Let's take a look at how absolute our ideas about time are. I think it's very interesting. As we grow and expand, we start to take on bigger notions of what reality is. It's vast, and I think it's worth taking a look. Thanks so much, and happy birthday to Clover Paws.